Shalom Aleichem Rabbi Sai. Today is like Ba'omer. We are still an Amud behind, but dropping this in to the chat here. Freichen like Ba'omer. There we go. And Baruch Hashem, we are on Daled Amud Beis of Maseches Yoma, where the Gemara is discussing the machlokes between the machlokes Tanaim, between four-way machlokes, but really it's a two-way machlokes that began at the bottom of Daled Amud Aleph, where Rabbi Yossi Aglili tells us that the 6 days that the Torah is counting of Moshe Rabbeinu's going up to Har Sinai, those 6 days happened. Here we go. Moshe ola be'anan v'nis kasa be'anan v'nis kaddish be'anan kedei lekabel Torah liYisrael b'kedusha shneimar v'yishkan kved Hashem al Har Sinai zeh haya ma'aseh achar aseres hadibros. At the beginning of the 40 days, that's when that whole thing occurred. Meaning that Moshe Rabbeinu was told, go up to the mountain. That was all post Aseres Hadibros. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to the mountain to get the luchos. That is the opinion of Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Akiva says no. Rabbi Akiva said, "V'yishkan kvod Hashem." That happened already on Rosh Chodesh, and there were 6 days of preparation that happened beforehand, and then we saw the opinions of Reb Nassan and Reb Masur ben Charash that aligned with the opinion more or less of Rabbi Yossi. Then the Gemara wanted to know what Gila Birado means. The Gila Birado means that in the Malkim of Gila, Shamtei Rado, where there is joy, there should be trembling. And now we are 3 lines from where the lines get very wide on Daf Dalam Beis, where the Gemara asks the question as follows: "But my kamifligi, what is the machlokes between Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Rabbi Akiva? What is that all about?" Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi Aglili, but my kamifligi Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Rabbi Akiva. People said the high tonight. It is a older machlokes. It's a machlokes of these two Tanaim. These two opinions of the Tanaim. The Tanya, we have a brayso that says b'shisha b'chodesh nitna Torah Yisrael, that on the 6th day of the month of Sivan, the Torah was given to the Jewish people. Rabbi Yossi says, no, b'shiva. It is on the 7th day of the month of Sivan. There is a machlokes. What date of the month of Sivan was the Torah given? The Torah doesn't tell you. The Torah also doesn't tell you what date Shavuos is. The Torah says you count 50 days. Everybody agrees 50 days, or maybe, we'll see. But exactly what the count is a machlokes. Rabbi Yossi, the Tanna Kama tells us that it's on the 6th of the month, and Rabbi Yossi tells us it's on the 7th. Manda Amar B'Shisha, the one that holds on the 6th, the Tanna Kama B'Shisha Nitna, the Torah was given on the 6th, Uveshiva Allah, and on the 7th of the month, Moshe Rabbeinu went up the mountain, which aligns with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi Aglili we saw before. Manda Amar B'Shiva, the one that says that the Torah was given on the 7th of the month, B'Shiva Nitna. It was given on the 7th day of the month of Sivan, Uveshiva Allah, and on the 7th day of the month of Sivan, that is when Moshe Rabbeinu went up for his 40 days and 40 nights. Dirsiv, as the pasuk says, Vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi, that Hashem called to Moshe on the 7th day, meaning which 7th day? On the 7th day of the month. Rabbi Yossi Aglili savar like Tanna Kama, and Rabbi Yossi Aglili clearly holds like the opinion of the Tanna Kama, that on the 6th day of the month the Torah was given. 6th of Sivan, Matan Torah. Hilkach, therefore, it means that Moshe Rabbeinu was called up the mountain after the Aseres Hadibros were given. Meaning, Aseres Hadibros, next day, Moshe come up the mountain. Vayishkan kvod Hashem al Har Sinai, and Hashem's covered rests on Har Sinai. Vayichaser ha'anan sheishes yamim leMoshe, and the cloud covers Moshe Rabbeinu for 6 days. Meaning, Moshe is covered for 6 days. Vayikra El Moshe b'yom hashvi, and Hashem called to Moshe on the 7th day, likabul shar Torah, in order to receive the rest of the Torah aside from the Aseres Hadibros. The East al kedai tavishkan kvod Hashem merish chodesh, because if you think that the honor of Hashem rested on Har Sinai from Rosh Chodesh, vayichaser anan, and the cloud covered it, lahar, and that vayichaser hu, that the cloud covered who means the mountain. Vayikra el Moshe b'yom hashvi. Hashem called to Moshe on the seventh day. Likibul aseres hadibros, in order to accept the aseres hadibros. Hay kabila lehu mishisha. He already accepted the aseres hadibros a day earlier. Vaha istalek hanan mishisha, and the cloud left on the sixth day. So this opinion details that first you have Rosh Chodesh. 6 days later you have Matan Torah. The day after Matan Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls Moshe up to the top of the mountain. And that's when the cloud covers him. That's the opinion of the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Yossi Aglili. The Rabbi Akiva holds no. Rabbi Akiva holds ki Rabbi Yossi, like the Rabbi Yossi of the Brisa, the Amar who says that on the seventh day of the month the Torah was given to the Jewish people. And now the Gemara is going to analyze these two opinions. Bishlama. Rabbi Akiva, it makes good sense for Rabbi Akiva. Hainu, the Mishkachas La. This is how you find it. That on the 70th day of Tammuz, the luchas were broken. Esrim ve'arba desivan. This was the 24th day, which works out to Esrim ve'arba desivan, the 24th day of the month of Sivan. Veshitza de Tammuz. 24 days of the month of Sivan, Vishisa de Tammuz, and 16 days of the month of Tammuz, which means that there were 40 days that Moshe Rabbeinu was on the mountain. And he came down on the 17th day of Tammuz. And that's the day that he broke the luchos. But according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the calendar works very differently. Which the Amar, he says, Shisha de Perisha, first there was after Matan Torah, there were 6 dais of Perisha where he was separated. V'arbain dahar, and then there were 40 days at the top of the mountain. Ad esrim udlas b'Tammuz, loy isbur luchas, which means that Moshe Rabbeinu only broke the luchas on the 23rd day of the month of Tammuz. He's got an extra 6 days in there. Amalach Rabbi Yossi Aglili says, no. Arbain dahar b'hadi Shisha de Perisha. The 6 days of separation are included in the 40 days of the mountain, which means that the first 6 days were preparation for the rest of the 40 days and 40 nights that was at the top of the mountain, and he comes out on the same day, meaning everybody agrees that Moshe Rabbeinu went up for his 40 days and 40 nights on the seventh day of the month of Sivan. How you split up those 6 days is a shayla. Amamar, a master says, Vayikra el Moshe, he calls Moshe, Vayikra el Moshe, he called Moshe, v'chol Yisrael, oimdim, and Moshe and the entirety of the Jewish people were standing. Messiah Rabbi Elazar, this fits well with Rabbi Elazar. The Amar Rabbi Elazar says, Vayikra el Moshe, he called to Moshe, v'chol Yisrael, oimdim, Moshe and the entirety of the Jewish people are standing. And the only reason that the Torah is singling out Moshe here is in order to give cover to Moshe Rabbeinu. Mesive. And now there's an objection here. Says the pasuk that the pasuk says that he heard a voice speaking a love to him, and not loy to him. This is the pasuk in Bamidbar, which the Gemara is going to darshan as follows: Kol loy, kol elav. Moshe shama v'chol yishal loy. Moshe shama v'chol yishal loy shamu. Meaning, we want to say Vayikra el Moshe, and the Jewish people are with him. And then you have a passage that says kol loy, kol elav. Moshe shama v'chol yishal loy shamu, that Moshe heard and the rest of the Jewish people didn't hear. Loy kasha, says the Gemara, that's not a problem. Ha b'sinai, ha ba'ol moed. No. There's a big difference between Sinai and the Ohel Moed. At Sinai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is supposed to hear everything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is speaking, and Klal Yisrael is supposed to hear everything. And Moshe Rabbeinu is singled out as the primary recipient of the Torah. But it's true that the entirety of the Jewish people is listening in. But in the Ohel Moed, where it says Kol Loy and Kol Elav, in those places it means only to Moshe Rabbeinu and not to everybody else. Alternatively, like Kasha, you could explain it differently. There is a difference between the calling and the dibur, meaning that when Hashem calls Moshe, Vayikra Hashem elav, when Hashem calls Moshe, everybody hears that Moshe Rabbeinu was called. But dibur, only HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks. Only Moshe Rabbeinu hears what Hashem says. Rabbi Tzvika Rami, Rabbi Zrika has a kasha like this. Rami Kray Kamid de Rabbi Lazar. He asked the following kasha in front of Rabbi Lazar. Va'amrila, and some say, Amr Rabbi Zrika, Rabbi Lazar Rami. That Rabbi Zrika said that Rabbi Lazar asked the question. So it came from Rabbi Zrika, either he said in front of Rabbi Lazar, or he said in the name of Rabbi Lazar. What's the contradiction? Ksiv, the pasuk says, V'lo yachal Moshe lavoi el oil moed. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't come into the oil moed. Ki shachan alav ha'anan, because the cloud was resting on it. Uksiv, and the pasuk also says, V'yavoi Moshe b'zach ha'anan. Moshe Rabbeinu came in the middle of the cloud. So which one is it? Did Moshe Rabbeinu have the ability to go into the oil moed, or did he not? What exactly is going on here? Melamed, that teaches you, Shetavsa HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, that Hashem he grabbed onto Moshe Rabbeinu, Tavsa HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ve'avir ba'anan, and he brought him in. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't come in, Hashem had to schlep him in. The Rabbi Yishmael Tana, the house of Rabbi Yishmael, taught as follows: Nemar kan b'seich. Here it says inside, b'seich yanan, v'nemar alam b'seich, and there it says b'seich. V'yavo b'nei Yisrael b'seich hayam, mal halon shvil. Just like there was a pathway, Dirshu, v'amayim lahem chayma, mimiram b'smalam, and there was a pathway. Afkan shvil, so to here, there was a pathway for Moshe Rabbeinu through the cloud. Meaning, it was impossible for Moshe Rabbeinu to enter into the oil moed because Hashem's presence was there. So one of two reasons: either you have Rabbi Lazar's approach, which is that Hashem dragged him in, or that the cloud split and Moshe Rabbeinu could go through. Says the pasuk, Vayikra el Moshe. That this is the beginning of Sefer Vayikra el Moshe Vaydaber Hashem elav. So Hashem calls Moshe. Why does the Torah have kriya, calling out before dibur, before speaking to him? Limde Torah derech eretz. The Torah is teaching you derech eretz. This Rashi quotes at the beginning of Vayikra. Shelo yomer adam davar lechaveroi ela imkein kareu. That a person shouldn't begin speaking to his friend. He shouldn't open a conversation unless he has called him. You don't pounce on somebody with something to say. You make sure that you're invited. Messiah Rabbi Chanina, Moshe Rabbeinu is called by Hashem before Hashem addresses him. Messiah Rabbi Chanina. This supports the approach of Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina said, "Lo yomer adam davar lechaver ela imkein kareu." Nobody should say anything to the friend unless they're called. Leimar, to say. So what does the word leimar mean? Leimar. This is the most popular word in the Chumash, meaning in terms of instruction. Leimar. So Amar Rabba, we take out the parentheses here. Amar Rabba, minayin laomer davar lechaver shehu bebal yomer ad sheyomer leich emar. How do you know that when somebody says something to you, the default is that you don't have permission to share it unless they give you explicit permission? How do you know that you're not allowed to share what somebody else says unless they tell you? Shenemar, the pasuk says, "Vayidaber Hashem elav me'oil moed leimar." That Hashem spoke to Moshe from the oil moed leimar, to say. Michlal, this implies the tarvayo svirlu. They're both this whole discussion. The tarvayo svirlu, they're both Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan hold. Miluim kol hakosav bahem ma'akibem. This was the discussion that we broached before. That the miluim, that everything that is discussed in the days of miluim, anything that is mentioned in them is essential. It's vital. If you didn't do it, it's ma'akev. Literally, it holds back the ability to continue. You cannot be yotze if one of the things mentioned there is not fulfilled. De itmar. Let's get an explanation or example. Miluim, with regards to miluim, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina discussed and disagreed about it. Chad Amar, one of them says, "Kol hakasbahim ma'akiv b'hem." V'chad Amar, "Davar ma'akiv l'daris ma'akiv b'hem." She'ein ma'akiv l'daris, ein ma'akiv b'hem. So they have a machlokes. Anything that's mentioned by the days of miluim, is that ma'akiv for all future opportunities, whatever that might be, and we'll see soon, or does that mean that only the things that is that it's limited to a subset of things that are ma'akiv for daris, but not everything. That it's somehow or another limited. Says the Gemara, Tistayim de Rabbi Yochanan, it makes sense. Let's conclude that Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion, the Amr that says everything written in them is ma'akiv. Midika Amr lei Rabbi Shimon Lakish Rabbi Yochanan, since Rish Lakish said to Rabbi Yochanan, If everything in the miluim is everything written in the miluim is ma'akev, and he didn't disagree with it, meaning he didn't respond. It seems to be Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion that because that was the premise from which Reish Lakish challenged him. Says the Gemara, Tistaim. Yeah, that's a good proof. Rashi says, yeah, Tistaim pluksed Rabbi Yochanan v'Rabbi Chanina the pligi b'ha milsa ba'alma Tistaim. The mehachad Rabbi Yochanan who the Amar kol hakosbeh ma'akev b'hen. It makes sense that this is the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. And then the Gemara wants to know, my beina, what exactly is this machlokes? And we will pick up at the top of Hey Amud Aleph. Please God, we will try to catch up the shir. If not tonight, we'll try to do a double tomorrow. And wishing everybody a freilichen end to like Ba'omer. Everybody should be gebenched and have a wonderful end of Sfir Summer. This is the beginning of Leiv Tov. We are now in the section of Tov. Hashem should bless us that we should be zecha to all of the Tovas. And we'll see you in the next year.